All right, so here's a stand of nettles that is long, and they're tall. They're taller than me. I'm about 5'7" or so, and that's going up to about, I don't know, 7 feet. And these are all stinging nettles. They're medicinal and they're edible. They have stingers. They have hypodermic needles that are basically hairs, and I can touch them because the hairs tend to point upwards. If you go down on a stalk of nettles, then of course you're going to get stung, you know, and so you have to be careful when you're harvesting. But the nettle plant is a very good plant. We got lots of Japanese beetles. Here we have an infestation this year in my region, so they're all over the place, and that's the buzzing that you hear. And what I want to do is I want to go ahead and I'm going to harvest some of these, and I'm going to show you how you can get the cordage from them. All right. So these two stalks here and here look pretty good, and so I'm just going to clip them at the base. Boom. All right, just like so. All right. So I'm going to go up there. I'm going to go up and I'm going to strip the leaves, which you can certainly eat the leaves. And I did get a little bit of a sting there, and I'll show you how to neutralize that soon. Usually there's a plant nearby that will neutralize that. We've got some yarrow here that could possibly work, but that's better for a cut. There is usually plantain around, and there's plenty of plantain. It wouldn't be hard to find plantain nearby, or jewelweed. But this plant tends to lend itself at the top of the plant to be its own cure. So I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, so this is what the nettles, that tall stand looks like on the landscape from afar. And this is off of a lake. They like nitrogen-rich soil, meaning there's lots of decay in the soil. So here is what we've harvested here. And I'm going to get rid of some of the leaves because what I'm after this time is the stalk. But first off, I have a little bit of a sting on my hand here. And what you do is the top of the nettle, nettles are edible, so you can totally the tops don't have the hairs, so you can put it in your mouth and it'll create its own, what we call a spit poultice, and I can just rub that on the sting that I got, and it takes it away almost instantaneously. Okay? And so I'm good. Right? So again, most of the hairs grow upwards. So if I was to go down, of course I'm going to get stung. But I can go upwards on the nettle. Now, if you are completely, allergic to them, you have issues with this plant, then don't do this without a glove. But I just want to get rid of the plant, get rid of the leaves. I can go upwards on this, and it doesn't really bother me. I shouldn't say it doesn't really. It doesn't bother me. So I can just peel upwards. And really what happens is that the little hairs, which are hypodermic needles, get wiped off. So I've got another one. Beginning. Go up. Now I'm letting these leaves go to waste, and certainly could use these leaves in a soup or stew. Nettles have the highest amount of plant protein in the plant family, edible plant family.
Or pesto.
Yep. Yep, pesto.
That was tasty.
I'm glad you liked it. this. Like so. Okay? So what I will do next is I'm taking on the concrete here. And what I want to do is just stomp all the way up the stalk. Like that. So once you stomp it on the ground, it tends to split in 4 places. So we spread it out along the stalk and make it flat. Just like this. So these are some beautiful long stalks. So this is going to give us lots of long fibers to work with. Just like so. Almost to the end. And when you can't go no more, go ahead, break it off and peel. So to get the this is part of it, is the inside of the stalk, which is the hard part. We don't want that. We want the skin. So we break it off over my finger and discard that stalk. Then I pull, get rid of the stalk, and peel like so. And then what we're going to get is we're going to get fibers. You can already see some of the fibers here. Lots of bugs. Lots of Japanese beetles this year. Ne. たくさん虫。
それだけじゃなくていろんなの。
ね。それ本当にね。
Outside sucks.
Outside なんか。Not for me. So this is how you extract the fibers. And this is in its raw state. You can harvest the stalks and let them dry, and then pound them, and extract the fibers that way. In a pinch, what happens is this plant now, I could twist this into rope or cordage right away, and it's very useful. But then the thing is I don't have to inhale any of the dust, which I'm allergic to, which causes me distress when it's dry. I learned that. So it's better for me to do it this way. Even though it's an anti-histamic plant. It's a very strong, powerful plant. It helps what it heals, but it also can inflict the same things. So that's been my experience with nettle, stinging nettle. And I've taken it, and it's helped me immensely with my allergies and asthma, but it can also cause it if I don't treat it correctly. So at the end of the day, this is what we want. We want the skin of the plant, and it's a long plant. And we're going to let this dry, and we'll be able to extract the fibers from this. Alright, so it's the next day, and these are the fibers that I let hang inside. And actually, from the time I got to the park and back home, they'd already pretty much dried. So this dries fairly quickly. But I just let it dry overnight. You may not have to let it dry that long. And so now all I have to do, as you can see, is these are really fibrous and kind of tough. To soften them up and to break away the fibers even more and clear the fibers away from the shaft, what I want to do is I want to rub them between my hands, or I could pound them with a rock against a piece of wood. Just like so. And then what this starts to do is it starts to break up the fibers. Okay, as you can see, the more I do this, I'll continue to do this a little bit. And you can kind of work it. Start to really break up these fibers in here. So you really really start to break up these fibers in here, and you can start to twist even then. This will be really wiry, and so you really have to kind of beat this and maybe even pound it. Work it with your hands a little bit more to get it really to break up all the fibers from the shaft. But this is, you know, the kind of the wet method of extracting fibers from nettles is just as easy and really as quick as this. In fact, it's a little better than the dry method. Here are the fibers. And this is without retting. Retting is letting your fibers like dogbane, milkweed, yucca, like soak in water until the shaft and the skin like basically rot away. So it can be kind of a messy proposition, kind of smelly, hard to do if you live in the city or in a house or something like that. It's best to ret your stuff in a stream or a creek or something like that, to let the waters kind of wash away all the shaft and the bark that you don't want. So this is a little bit more sanitary method. You're still going to get some pretty coarse fibers. You really still have to kind of work this a bit, but in a pinch, you know, this breaks up pretty good, and I can immediately start twisting this into cordage, or I can use it as is, as bindings or as lashing. This will make great fishing line, just singles like this, maybe even something a little thinner. Nettles are reasonably strong as a fiber, as a cordage fiber, as a cordage. So there's a nice fine string there. So yeah, pretty useful plant.